Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Broken Boys. This is episode 222, 222.
Oh,
I'm Mike,
and I'm Colin.
and yeah, today we're gonna talk about stuff and things. And we're gonna do a roundup of the albums that we listened to in the month of May.
Sure are.
Sure are. But before we do that, how are you doing, Colin? And how was your week?
I am all right, and my week was fine. Nothing too crazy. Just work, and that's about it.
Cool.
Nothing too exciting. Last Friday after the pod, we went did some bowling.
Oh yeah, that's right. I
Which
remember you
was
saying that.
I haven't bowled in a good few years, and damn, I suck. But I did get one strike, so that was at least there was that.
Nice. Lucky you didn't get 3 strikes, or you'd be out of there.
Right, exactly. I would have been kicked out. And my bowling shoes would have been torn from my feet.
Yeah.
Um,
Forcefully removed.
But it was fine. Before that, we got some ice cream from like a little shop. There's 2 of them in the area, but they're like old kind of places, and I hadn't been there, but I've driven past one of them a couple times on the way back from your old apartment. There was one in a neighborhood that I would drive through to get back to the dorm and my apartment and such. But it was pretty good. I got a cookies and cream milkshake. It was yummy. There was a pretty creepy ice cream cone outside of it. I can see if I can send it real quick. But
okay. I think I actually may remember this place, because I maybe it's the ice cream cone that I remember.
It might be. It's pretty creepy. Yeah. But
Ugh, I had to sneeze. Ugh. Oh, here it is. Thank you. Oh yes, yeah, I think I remember seeing that. That's it's a character.
Oh yeah. But pretty good vibes. The trash can where we were near where we were sitting was pretty stinky though. So other than that, pretty good.
Yeah.
Good vibes. And then just playing more of that Claire Obscure Expedition 33 game this week. It's pretty good. The story's pretty cool. I'm still trying to get down with the rhythm of the parrying and dodging and such. I've been getting pretty I've been crashing out a little bit while playing it. But it's still fun. Well written, the acting is good. They killed a character that I wasn't expecting them to kill. It made me upset. But it's fun, and I like it, and I would recommend it. But I bought Steam's got a sale on like zombie/vampire games this week, and the Left 4 Dead games back from the good old days. Were $1 each, so I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'll pick those up. Haven't played them, but that could be fun to play with some peeps down the line. But that was cool. Didn't watch any movies or anything this week, but watched some shows. 2 shows that I've been watching ended. One of them being The Last of Us, which we can talk about a little later. And then I was also watching the Nathan Fielder show, the Rehearsal. Season 2 was going around this, it started like around the same time as The Last of Us season 2, and it ended the same day. the season was all about he was trying to figure out why planes were, what was the leading cause of plane crashes, and he
Mm,
thinks that it's miscommunication between the pilot and co-pilot
yeah.
within the cockpit. And it was pretty funny. There was one standout episode that was like really fucking funny. He read solely the pilot who landed the plane in
Yeah.
the Hudson River. He read his memoir and just like reenacted his entire life through it. Uh, and it was, oh god, it was really fucking funny. Um, and then the last episode, he revealed that he had trained to be a pilot and fly planes himself, and he found like a decommissioned 737 like airline
Hmm.
airplane that people would fly in, a bunch of passengers, like a regular, uh, like a United kind of
Right.
airplane. Uh, and he, the actors that he used throughout the season, uh, were on the plane as he flew it for the first time, just from San Bernardino to the edge of Nevada and back to San Bernardino.
Oh.
It was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Um, he committed to the bit real hard, and
Yeah.
but it. I don't remember the first season very well because that came out a few years ago at this point. But I would go back and watch it because this show is like, it's really well done, and he's really awkward and it's hard to watch at times, but
Hmm.
um, really well done, very funny. Would recommend that as well.
Interesting. I do remember you talking. The reason I went oh is because I remember you talking about that actually. I think when the first season happened, like maybe
Mm-hmm.
even on pod. I mean, I'm not entirely sure
I
when it came
probably
out.
did.
Yeah, I was like, oh
Uh,
yeah, I remember that now. Yeah.
yeah, because I think it was 2022 or 2021. I'm not entirely sure. It could have been
Yeah.
2023 as well. Uh, but
2022.
would recommend.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, would recommend. Very funny, very awkward. Um, and then uh, I I I listened to one thing this week. I listened to "For Emma Forever Ago" by Bon Iver.
Hmm.
Um, I hadn't listened to any Bon Iver record, and I was looking for something like fairly short and sweet to listen to. Um, and it was around 35 minutes. I was like, oh, I'll check it out. I haven't listened to any Bon Iver, indie folk, kind of singer songwriter stuff. And I was like, that's pretty much up my alley. And yeah, it was good. I liked it. I'll talk about it more in the roundup, but
Okay.
you know, enjoyable.
Yeah, that's one I've been
Um,
wanting to get around to for a long time. So
yeah,
cool.
but yeah, that's mostly my week. I did um, there's one other slightly big thing. John was he was talking about going to see Kendrick Lamar in St.
Oh
Louis,
yes, yes, yes.
and I was like, yeah, probably. I don't know. I'll see. Probably not. Like tickets are kind of expensive, and I was like, yeah, maybe not right now. But he was like, you could also pay me back whenever you can. And I was like, yeah, I'll think about it. And then last week I was like, yeah, I probably shouldn't. Um, and he texted me on Wednesday night. I think he was like, just checking in one more time. I'm about to buy the tickets, and they're like 200 in like the middle section. It's not in the nosebleeds.
Hmm.
And I was like, that's not bad. So I was like, let me consult my financial advisor. So I was like, hey Max, what do you think? And she was like, well, if you wanna. I was like, I do. I do wanna.
Great financial advice. Yeah, I mean, sure, fuck it if
uh,
you want to.
I was like, yeah, I do wanna. So I was like, John, sign me up. But I hadn't seen it until like 20 minutes after he sent the text, and I was like, yeah. And he was like, so I already bought my ticket. I was like,
Right.
awesome. Um, So I'm gonna be like a couple rows behind him, but going to see Kung Fu
Yeah.
Kenny in St. Louis next Wednesday, which is super
Oh
cool.
shit. Oh yeah, that is that soon, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
but yeah, I was worried because I would have had to request off for that day a few weeks ago in order to get it off. But I looked at the schedule and I'm already off without having to have anybody take my shift or call off, and it's like it was meant to be. So,
Yeah. There you go.
um, so yeah,
And
it's pretty cool.
since you two are going to be a couple rows apart, you can both sing all the words without judging the other one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I already planned on it, no matter
Yeah.
where I was
Oh,
in the
okay,
stadium. So,
okay.
um, uh, but yeah, unapologetic and what happens in St.
Unjudgmental.
Louis stays in St.
Of
Louis.
course, of course.
But yeah,
No,
that's cool.
that'll
Very
be fun
excited
though.
for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. First rap concert other than
Yeah.
21 Pilots. And
Not rap or hip hop.
yeah, that'll be cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was basically my week. And
Nice.
how was your week, man?
Week was kind of a lot, but
Mm.
it was a week. I guess yeah, I'll talk about work first, why not? So if you remember me saying last week, Friday was optional to come into. And I was
Hmm.
like, well, the next week is going to be a 4 day week because we Memorial Day. Um, and I need to get some money, so I'm going to go in on Friday and be a good worker. And then they ended up putting me on uh I I would maybe argue maybe one of the hardest things that they have there, at
Oh,
least physically taxing. I guess just to refresh people, I'm in like a warehouse setting, so uh, it's a lot of it's like it was kind of like it was making pallets again, but it
yeah.
was as you're making the pallet, you're also like fucking building a structure around it pretty much. So like it's a lot of time management type stuff and having all your materials that you're supposed to have and like um you know as you're building this stuff the boxes just keep coming, they don't stop when you're building, the boxes keep coming when you're building. But I was learning it for the first time on Friday, and it was just very rough. Because it was me and one guy, like this older guy, who's like in charge of the line or whatever, and he's generally pretty nice. I definitely wouldn't want to sit down and talk to him about politics, because him and I
Oh,
would
wow.
definitely he would yeah, we would definitely be on opposite sides of the aisle there. But he is like a good worker though, and he like is respectful and all that kind of stuff, but like at the same time he is kind of loud and loudmouth and like easily like what the hell you doing, Mike, and stuff like that, like when you make a little
Uh,
mistake and it's like um and like just doing that for 8 hours, and it was very I was like drenched in sweat by like 30 minutes in, and that stayed that way for the rest of the night. And that was a lot to do, and it like it really took me out for the first 2 days of the 3 day weekend as well. Like I was
mm.
I was very sore the next couple days. And then all this week I have done the exact same position.
Oh no.
hmm Although I will say, because we were doing that on one pallet last Friday, and ever since then we've been doing it on two, and like
Mm.
the boxes still come at the same rate. So when there's two pallets, it goes slower, right? Like it's less to put onto your pallet because it's being split up half and half between you and another person, rather than
Yeah.
just every single box we're throwing it on there as soon as possible. Build, like all that. Um, it has made it easier, but it still is a little hard. But I will say the last couple nights that I've been coming home have been a little less tired each time. So I mean, I
That's good.
guess yeah, I was gonna say I guess that's something. But yeah, that's been kind of hard, and also I have a lot of bruises and scratches on my arms. So
You're gonna
hopefully
talk
no.
to somebody.
I know. I was gonna say, hopefully no one thinks I'm doing anything. Don't love the job, not quite there. But did get the first paycheck though, and
Mhm. That
that
feels good.
yeah, my money about tripled. I, yeah, it was not in a good place. But
First paycheck in 3 years. Am I right?
pretty much. I mean, like legit paycheck. Yeah, pretty much. But well, not 3 years because I was doing like DoorDash and like
Yeah.
that parking service. But
Oh
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
yes and yes. But yeah, I've kind of gotten to talk with some people a little bit and stuff as well. And there was this is just a funny interaction I had. So we're not allowed to have our phones on us or like any jewelry or like pretty much any personal belongings or anything like that. So we have to put them
Right.
in these like little lockers. They're like temporary lockers. And there was one time I was coming back from break, and this guy was on his phone just at a locker next to me putting my stuff in. He was like, "Hey, do you have a gaming station?" I was like, "Huh? Do you have a gaming station?" I was like, "Yeah, I got like PC." He's like, "Oh, dude, look at this." And he showed me a picture of just like GTA 6. He was like, "Oh man, do you know this shit's coming out?" Like, yeah, yeah, I've heard. He's like, yeah, I think it's coming out this weekend. And I'm like,
What?
no. I was like, I'm pretty sure we still like a year away from it coming out. He's like, oh man, seriously? Oh, I was about to start planning my whole weekend around that.
Man who's been stuck in a warehouse for 10 years.
Yeah, has not left. I don't remember how I ended that conversation, but I was like laughing along with him. I was like, "Oh no, man, I'm sorry. It's not coming out this week."
Sorry, sorry to ruin your
Yeah,
weekend, but
yeah. I'm so sorry, dude. That was just a funny interaction in general.
that's
I was
really
like,
funny.
okay. Um, and the fact that he called it like a gaming station too, that's why it like caught me off guard. I was like, yeah, I got PC. um, but there was that, and then I guess a slightly less fun story. I don't know. There's one guy. I think I mentioned him last week because he kind of reminded me of Justin from the deli a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and he's been relatively kind of cool. Like we've just been talking and whatever, like not like super long conversations or anything, but just kind of adequate acquaintance at work type
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, right.
And then I think it was a couple days ago, like maybe I questioned a little bit his maybe his views on women a little bit.
No.
He was like, I mean, it was kind of typical guy talk that I'm not really a big fan of. That he was like, "Oh yeah, that girl over there looks great in those pants or whatever," or something. I was like,
Uh,
yeah, yeah."
yeah,
I
man.
was like, "Yeah, man." And but it was like yesterday we were going to break. He was like, "Oh, dude, come look at this." And he like showed me something on his phone. And it's just a picture of a woman with like bare ass out, or whatever that he was sent. He was like, "Oh, dude, this chick just like sends me this like with no like whatever and like a cash app or whatever or something like that." And I was like, I don't know what the situation of that was, but
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I'm just, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like, it like really, uh,
Soured you on him.
oh, yeah, it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, he's my coworker and like, I'm probably gonna be working alongside him and like, he's been fine with everything else. It's just like, oh man, I don't like your views on women and how
Yeah.
you're just showing me that and stuff like that. I barely know you, and that's even if I did
Yeah.
like if you did that to me, I wouldn't like if you did that either.
Right. Yeah.
Obviously, um,
Yeah. Very, very me thing to do as
yeah,
well.
yeah. Colin does that all the time. All the nudes he's getting. um, but yeah, that was just yeah. Uh, you know,
Yeah.
the
That's yeah.
coworker behavior, I guess. And
I
it
mean, yeah.
reminds
Color.
me, It reminds me of why dudes get the rep that they do. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, guys being dudes. Okay. Not excusing that, by the way.
No, no.
But um, but anyways, that was mostly the work week, just kind of doing that and building up some strength, I guess, and a little less sweat each day, a little less whatever. My feet fucking hurt though,
Oh yeah.
and I'm getting some blisters on my toes that I'm not a big fan of.
Ooh,
Yeah, yeah. I've tried changing my shoes, and I think it's helping, but I don't know.
use some
Um,
Dr. Scholl's, brother.
I guess so. I guess so. But yeah, that's pretty much that. But I did watch a movie with my mom last weekend. Next one in the Marvel series, we watched Black Panther. We had both
Hmm.
seen it before when it came out in theaters. And I remember not being a huge fan of it, but I actually liked it more this time around.
Hmm.
Like I don't know. Maybe, I think I was a little cynical on the MCU at that point because still cynical because it was like right before Infinity War Endgame, and that was like kind
Right.
of the thing that made me go like, oh, maybe there's something going on here. And but yeah, no, watching it again this time, I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. I thought it was done pretty well. Like yeah, some of the CGI gets a little weird at
Oh yeah.
points. But like the story itself is told very well, and it's really unique for the MCU. Chadwick Boseman, of course, is great, but even getting kind of seeing like another Ryan Coogler film after Sinners, I was like, oh yeah, you
Yeah.
can feel the flavors in that as well for Black Panther. Um, and I think a lot of the characters are great. Michael B. Jordan, and I know that's not the character's name, but Killmonger and whoever the hell. Oh God, why am I forgetting?
Claw
Yeah,
and
Claw. What's that actor name? Oh my God, I'm blanking.
Andy Circus.
Andy Serkis, thank you. Yeah, he does great in that villain role. Yeah, it's a lot of great stuff in that movie. Like it's still not like one of my favorites, but like I do enjoy it quite a bit and more than I thought I did. And yeah, holds up pretty well. Um,
Yeah. I generally think that one's a little overrated.
mhm.
I think because people herald that as like, oh, it's one of the best ones ever, and
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, I mean, it's got good moments, but
Yeah.
as a whole, it's got like 98% on Rotten Tomatoes or something from
Oh shit.
critics. I'm like, man,
Yeah, I
I
think
don't know. But
no, you can too. Oh,
no, no, I was just yeah, I was just saying, I don't know about that, man.
oh, okay. Um, yeah, I mean, maybe that's partly what like, maybe I went into it with a pessimistic mood the first time because I remember kind of hearing that said around that time too. Just like, a lot of people love this, but also it's a little overrated, which like maybe I would agree with. Like, I don't think it's the greatest MCU movie, but like, I think going into it without any expectation or like cultural context, I guess,
Right.
at the time. Um, I think with those thoughts removed, like it just like was a really good movie. I was like, okay, this
Yeah.
is actually pretty a lot better than I thought it was.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Once you get to the second one, though, that one's really good, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
I have heard that is like better. So I'm interested in that one for sure. Um, so yeah. And then The Last of Us, which we'll talk about.
Mhm.
And I think that's really about it for me. I mean, it's just a lot of.
Didn't say anything.
Yeah, I was just about to get to that, but believe it or not, I was. Um, um, but yeah, I listened to a few things actually. For the album of the year, most reviewed thing that I'm doing each month or week. The most reviewed album was an album by Stereo Lab. Not sure if you've heard of them before, but
I
they
think I have heard the name.
yeah, that was kind of the same place I was in. Just like I've heard the name. They have a few records that like music nerds really like. I'm not sure how like big they were, but it was like their first album in 15 years, and it was
Oh wow.
called Instant Holograms on Metal Film, and I thought it was kind of boring. I didn't really. I mean, a lot of people seem to be enjoying it quite a bit, but for me, I was like, there's good sound. Like the way I described it on album of the year, I was like it kind of sounds like how a flat soda tastes. Like it has like all the ingredients and formula of something that sounds really good, but like the presentation itself just feels like it's like a little lifeless and sterile. Like it's just kind of like I don't know. I didn't. It was a little long for me, and it was just like it didn't really do much outside of a few moments, but it was still cool though. It was just not really my thing, I think. Um, then after that, I listened to "We Like It Here" from Snarky Puppy. Name I've heard a lot and seen clips of before, but I saw, I think just something appeared to be recommended of like this keyboard solo that happens in the last song on their Lingus, and I was like, that is a really, really fucking good performance. Like maybe one of the best things I've seen performed by like jazz fusion type band. Um, and it made me interested in listening to that whole album. And I don't have a lot of in-depth thoughts just because it's kind of been somewhat of a background listen. Like I do need to do more of an in-depth listen, but it's a lot of great stuff. Like it's all instrumental, but it's very gives you kind of like that stank face for the whole time, at least in my opinion. And yeah, it was good. I liked it.
Hmm.
And then finally, there was quite a few things that came out last night. And
Yes.
I'm a little worried that I may have to listen to Swans on Monday, because that's a 1 hour and 55 minute album.
Woo!
Guess how many songs it is?
I'm looking right now. 7
Oh,
songs.
yep.
That's wild.
Yep, 7 songs, hour and 55 minutes long. Hoping that doesn't happen. Although maybe I don't know. I've given Swans a few tries. It's not really my thing. But I did listen to the new Miley Cyrus record, Something Beautiful, because I really
Mhm.
loved that title track. And I still do love that title track. And had me interested in the album. And I haven't seen what the scores are on that right now. Is that still like sticking in the 80s? Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I I liked the album and I liked the ambition and direction of it, but like it kind of, even though that song was really creative and like did a lot of genre blending and stuff, I think the rest of the album gets like carried by the production a lot. Like it's a lot of dance pop type stuff and so, oh excuse me, some kind of like those 80s songs revival a little bit. And like it's just not really my thing, and I don't feel like Miley Cyrus added a lot on a lot of these tracks. Like she kind of just
Mm.
felt like a vessel for the producers at some times. Although I see that she is on the production, so like I don't entirely know how involved she is with that. But there's still some bangers on it though, like the title track, and then also what was that one song? It was Easy Lover. I thought was really fucking good too. But I think it's getting a little overrated at the moment. But it's still fine and definitely an interesting take on her music after things like Flowers or whatever came out. Definitely
Yeah.
something I respect more and am interested in more than that. So yeah, and that's what I
Yeah.
listened to this week.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't really got much else about my week, so I don't know what you want to jump into next.
Uh, I mean, we can do a roundup before we get into news and such.
Okay, we could do that. Um, I'll try to be quick with my roundup, but I'm almost positive I have more than you this week. I
Oh
have I
yeah,
have
yeah,
I
yeah.
have a lot. Um,
Yeah. I think I had like 4. So.
okay, cool. Well, I guess I will start off real quick. The first thing I listened to this month, can't believe that this was this month, but was The Scholars by Carsey Headrest. And I thought,
Oh wait, no, I have 5 then. I have 5 then.
oh, he's got five. uh, yeah, The Scholars by Carsey Headrest. I think it's a great return to form for them, but also like a good, progression of their sound that feels really nice. It is a long album, and like there are some really long songs on there too. Got Planet Desperation at 19 minutes pretty much. And I think I've listened to it like 3 times or so. But I've kind of come around the same way, or I finished it the same way each time. Like, yeah, I think there's some really really great stuff on there, like Gethsemane, and CCF, I'm Gonna Stay With You, and some other stuff as well. The singles in particular were very good. But it kind of just for me, like I do think it overstays its welcome on a few of the songs. And even though I really like this direction for the band, I don't think it always works. Particularly for me on Planet Desperation, I think not all the sections of that song work for me, and I don't think it needed to be 19 minutes long. I don't think it was, at least in my opinion. Um, but still a great album though, and I think the highlights on it are very stellar. So I have that at like a light 8. So yeah,
Nice. Yeah, my first thing was also The Scholars. Thank you for reminding me of that.
no problem.
I haven't listened to it in full since it came out,
Mm.
but I have enjoyed some select tracks like "I'm Gonna Stay With You" and "Gethsemane," and I think the catastrophe.
There you go.
Uh, uh, Good luck with that, man. And yeah, it's good. I really enjoy the fact that they went with like a rock opera, very deep, like narrative with this. I think that it's a really cool way to make music. I'm a slut for a concept album,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and you know, while I haven't done the job to really like look into it and get into the story of it, I still think it's very cool. Very interesting way to make music, and they did a pretty good job of making said music. I do think that some of the tracks are a little long, like you said. Like I remember when we talked about the album, I remember saying that, like, oh, Planet Desperation, it didn't really overstay its welcome for me, but I think I listened to it one or two more times since the fact, and yeah, it kind of does overstay that welcome a little bit.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean I hate it or that it's
Yeah,
like
same here.
bad, but
Yeah.
it's 20 minutes and it's like, I could be doing other things. Um but like you said, the singles are all like the standouts for me as well. Um but it's all pretty well done. I think it's a cool direction. It's a great step up from making a door less open
Mm.
from 5 years ago. Um, but I'll always be down for more car seat headrest, and I'm glad we got some more in the year of 2025.
Yeah.
And yeah, I have it. I think I have it like a solid 8 right now. But yeah, good stuff.
Cool. 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 Next thing I listened to was Pirouette by Model Actress. And it's an album that actually kind of shrunk on me a little bit. A lot of people are liking this one even more than their previous record. But for me, it's just, it's kind of, they do like their noisy sound that they've been doing, the dancey, noisy thing, but it's like mixed with more like melodic elements and stuff, which I think is cool. And I think it is really cool at certain points, like the lead single Cinderella. But also, I think it kind of tonally clashes with itself for me. Like it doesn't fully come together on a lot of the songs. But there's still a lot of cool stuff on it though. And I enjoy it quite a bit. But it's just not as interesting, I guess, to me. It doesn't work as
Yeah.
well. But I still think it's great though, so I have it at a decent 7.
My next thing is the discography of modern baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and we have a whole artist analysis on this
We sure
discography. So
do.
if you want in-depth thoughts on all of the records, you can go check that out from a few episodes ago. But as just like an overall kind of thing, I think it was a little bit of I won't say disappointment, but it didn't really match my expectations for how I'd heard people talk about the band in the past. When I hear people talk about like Midwest emo and things like that, American football comes up, and then in that same conversation, modern baseball also kind of shows up there, and
Mm-hmm.
they did do some good stuff. But as like an overall, all three albums, the second one I really liked. I think that the production really brought it up a notch from the first. There's some really interesting and cool stuff, but a lot of lyrics throughout the three records are pretty samey. The vocal inflection on and the lead singer is something to kind of get over at
Mm-hmm.
points, because it is pretty unique. Midwest emo is kind of known for having like that kind of whiny, well, yeah, kind of
Yeah.
stuff. And I can usually get over it, and I didn't hate it all too much throughout the discography, but it was a little iffy at points.
Yeah.
But it there was some good stuff. I enjoyed it for the most part. But in terms of like the Midwest emo that I've consumed and I've really enjoyed, it's not up there with my favorites. I would still say there's definitely some stuff to go check out, like their biggest song, "Tears Over Beers," um, and some other stuff from that first record and second one. But they left it off on kind of a low note for me. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but if you wanna check out full thoughts on each album, go check out that artist analysis. But as an overall score, I gave them a light 7. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Um. Cool. Yeah. Next thing I listened to was "We Live in a Society" by Flume and JPEG Mafia. It was an EP that was the most reviewed thing of that week, and it pretty forgettable. Like it's not really anything to write home about. A little weird at points too. Like there's a whole song about an AI girlfriend that's sung with JPEG Mafia and like autotune, and it's like satirical, but also it's just a strange song. Um, I don't know. It's fine. There's some cool moments on it. Like it's not like hurtful to listen to or anything like that, but it's also just like really it kind of feels pointless. um, and I think that's the best way to put it. It kind of feels pointless, and I gave it a strong 5.
Nice.
Yep.
My next one would be Viagra A Boys by Viagra
Mm.
Boys. Came out this year. Mike had talked about it a couple months ago. Um, and I was looking for stuff to listen to last week, and I was like, you know what? I like that album cover, and Mike talked about it, so I'll check it out. And I enjoyed it. I think I've been one to enjoy comedic forward albums in the past. I was a big fan of like Ninja Sex Party and stuff when I
Oh yeah.
was in high school and stuff and everything. Um, and this is comedic, but not at that same level. Not I won't not same level, but not in the same style. I mean, uh, it for some reason throughout the record it gave me like Black MIDI from an alternate reality
Mm-hmm.
kind of vibes. Just like kind of that spoken word kind of all over the place production and instrumentals in the background at points.
Yeah.
And it was a good vibe. I enjoyed a lot of it. Like songs like "Man Made of Meat," the opener, uh Pyramid of Health, I think I remember liking quite a bit, and You Need Me, which I picked for Song of the Week last week, uh, are all really great tracks. And the comedic comes off funny. There's some pretty good chuckle moments throughout
Yeah.
that record. But it's one that I'll probably return to. But as for right now, I had it at a solid 7. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And something I meant to bring up that I'm not sure if you knew. Do you know those guys are Swedish?
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
That's
they're
interesting.
from Sweden. They sound very American homebred to me. So like that's always
Yeah,
interesting to me. Yeah, Swedish boys.
I guess they look Swedish in their Spotify profile.
Yeah,
Looking at it now, but
yeah. On second glance, yeah. Um, yeah. Next thing I listened to, I don't really have a lot to say about either. It was Triste Animal by Lou Adrian Cassidy. It's a French artist, or well, Canadian French artist. that I through the recommendations of Hive Mind had found, and this is her second album of this year. It takes more of like a singer songwriter approach, very stripped down, very, you know, stripped down. Piano. I remember there being a lot of pianos and stuff. I only listened to it once, and I think it was on a day where I listened to a couple things. So I don't really have a lot to say about it, but I did enjoy it. I didn't think it was as interesting as her project earlier this year, but I did think it was nice, and I want to give it another fair shake though at some point to give it its full attention. Um, but yeah, it was a pleasant listen. I enjoyed it, and I gave it a light 7.
Nice.
Yeah.
Um, Next thing I listened to was Carpe Diem Moon Man by Psychedelic Porn Crumpets.
Mm-hmm.
Also last week, and that album cover of that silly little Moon Man,
Yeah.
that that drew me in.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they're known for kind of like psychedelic rock, art rock kind of stuff,
Yeah.
and I'm also one to enjoy that kind of stuff from time to time, and it was well done. It was a little less psychedelic than I was expecting it to be, but it was definitely like it was there at points, and it was well done. It's all like good instrumentals throughout. I don't remember much of like the lyricism or anything, but from what I do remember, it was well done. It's just an overall well made, good listen. I would recommend checking it out. It's the only album that I've checked out from them, that and Cornflakes, which you picked for Song of the Week a
Mm.
good bit ago. Um, but got some good stuff on there, some good slower points, and some cool higher energy stuff like March on Pax Romana, and yeah, like the slower parts, like as the hummingbird hovers, that's also really good. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
as a record, just well done. I think I have it as a decent 8 right now. So yeah, I'd recommend that one.
Cool. Yeah, that is one that I'm thinking of checking out just because both you and Vanessa have given positive reviews on that. Um, but yeah, next thing I listened to was "Fancy That" by Pink Panthers, a little mixtape that she did. And I enjoyed her last project. But this mixtape, I don't know, man. There's something about it that I really enjoy. I think I've really grown to appreciate her vocal style. Like it is like very much in that auto tune type sound, but like I don't know the way that like the timbre of her voice mixes with that like it does something. It has some crack in it for me. It's like kind of hyper poppy, but also kind of notish. I don't. It's hard to describe her vocal style. But like all I know is that it leads to some fucking bangers, dude. And this album is a lot more kind of in that dancey type sound, but I think it works really well, and the production's really cool throughout, and there's a lot of just really great ideas on here. It's a short little mixtape. It's like 20 minutes, but it's got a lot of highlights for me. Really like Stateside, really like Tonight. Remember liking Romeo quite a bit as well, and I think Girl Like Me I think was another one that I was vibing with. And yeah, a lot of great stuff on there, and I have it at a light 8.
Nice,
Yeah, um,
like that.
like that, fancy that.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then the last thing I listened to for the month of May is For Emma Forever Ago by Bon Iver. Um, like I said, I was looking for something, short and sweet for this week. And I like some good indie folk and singer songwriter stuff. And Bon Iver, huge name in music, but I've never really listened to him. I don't even know if I've really heard uh, anything by him other than like his cover, or not his cover, his feature on that one folklore track that I'm seeing
Mm-hmm.
now.
Yeah,
But
great
um,
song. I'm
yeah,
forgetting
yeah.
the name of that one right now, but yeah.
Um, but yeah, it was really good, well done. It's very low key and moody, but it's indie folk and singer songwriter stuff, so it's pretty on par for that kind of feel. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but for a first record, it's really well done. It's got a lot of streams throughout.
Oh yeah.
Um, I was expecting to know a couple of these tracks with the big streams. Like there's a song called "Skinny Love" on here with 708 million, and I
Yeah.
was like, oh, I've probably heard that then. And then I listened to it, and I was like, I don't know if I've ever heard this before.
I think I've listened to it like once, but yeah, yeah.
But he's got a good voice, and it's generally well done. I would probably check out more of his more modern stuff to see if it connects with me more, or even his album, the Bon Iver, which is like the album cover that I think I've seen the most.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but you know, I'm glad I checked it out. It's well done. It's pretty, and there's some good stuff on there, like The Wolves Act 1 and 2, Creature Fear, um, and Lump Sum.
Mm-hmm.
All really good tracks. I would recommend it if you like that kind of indie folk feel. Um, yeah, good vibes all around. I'd probably give it like a decent to solid 8.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Next thing I listened to was Where We've Been, Where We Go From Here by Freako. Inspired by the Black Country New Road concerts, of course. Him opening up for, well, sorry, them opening up for Black Country New Road. And yeah, it's an album I've been meaning to get around to for a while, and that Colin has been telling me to get around to for a while, and I was stubborn little bitch for some reason. Um, but um, finally got to it, and I enjoy it quite a bit. I think there's a lot of really great stuff going on here from the production. Listening to it after the concert, I think his vocals in the concert are legitimately better than on the album, which is
Mm.
exciting to see for new stuff. But like as I was listening, I was like, these vocals are still good, but they weren't like giving me like, oh my fucking god, like he was in concert. So um
Yeah.
very excited to see what they do next, and at least in terms of vocally. But like here, there's a lot of great stuff, like a lot of great production. Crimson to Chrome, it's a song that I've enjoyed quite a bit since you chose that song of the week. And then Where We've
Mm.
Been, I think, is awesome as well. And then there's just a lot of variation throughout. I think For Ella is a beautiful little piano and string ballad. I think Chemical is really fun, and Get Numb to It I remember enjoying quite a bit too, and liking the serenity of the ending Cardinal. There's just a lot of great tracks on here, and it in some ways it does feel like it's a first step towards something to me. Like I do think while the stuff here is great, not a lot of it blows me away like the opening song does.
Mm.
But like it is really great though, and I'm really looking forward to their next thing, like I've been saying a couple times now. And yeah, shout out Freako in Chicago. And I have it at like a light to decent 8 or so. I think it's a very solid record. And yeah, you said you were done, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
it's happy.
you yep. All right, I will go quickly. And I can go quickly on this one. After that, I listened to 7 Piano Sketches by Andre 3000. It was a little EP that he put out of under the genres of impressionism and free improvisation. And it sucks. It's not good, in my opinion. I talked about it a few weeks ago. It's very low effort, like phone recordings of just like a couple ideas he had at the piano, and like while it's cool that he's learning the piano and wanting to share that, I support that. Uh, you can put more effort into it than that, and I don't enjoy that style of presentation and putting it under those labels. So I have it at a strong 2. I don't like it. um, After that, modern baseball discography. Like Colin said, we have a whole episode dedicated to that. And more or less agree with what Colin said. The second album has a lot of more strong moments for me. But like generally speaking, all of them were pretty much in that strong six. I don't even think I did. I give a light seven to the. Yeah, I gave a light seven to the second album. But like it's like all my the scores that I gave to them are within like 3 points of each other. Like it's it's very much. I don't know. It's not quite my thing. I agree with Colin that the vocalist is uh, hit or miss sometimes. And the songs themselves just didn't really do much for me. But it wasn't like bad, but it felt like very much not my thing. And yeah, I think I gave him like a strong six overall, and that feels pretty accurate to me. Then the next thing I listened to after that, most reviewed thing of that week was Unmusic by Lucy Bedrock, which another thing that wasn't really for me. It was another Rage project, and I think I'm coming around to the fact that I just don't really get the genre of Rage. The few that I've listened to this year because of the most reviewed thing on Album of the Year, I haven't really liked any of them except for Jane Remover, but she was mixing uh, the rage elements with like a whole bunch of different genres, which made it cool. The straight up
Mm.
rage stuff is like I don't know, it doesn't do it for me. Uh, I think it's better than Cardi. I'll put it that way. um,
Not hard, not hard.
not yeah. And yeah, I gave it a light six. And then I kind of already talked about these next three, so I won't go too in depth. But the Stereo Lab record, Instant Holograms on Metal Film, I thought it was kind of boring. Didn't really stimulate me, but still, it was fine. And I think there was some cool sounds and stuff going on. Gave that a decent six. And then We Like It From Here, Snarky Puppy. I do want to listen to more of. And I don't really have a definitive rating at the moment. But maybe around an eight, somewhere like that. Maybe like a decent eight or so. Lingus is an incredible song though, and would recommend that one. But yeah, and then Something Beautiful by Miley Cyrus. Like I was saying, I think the ambition is cool, and there's a lot of interesting stuff going on. It's a very colorful album, which I respect, but I just don't think it hits the mark on everything, and it does fall into some of those pop formulas a little too strongly at points. But the production is cool, and there's some great songs on there. Shout out again to Something Beautiful, the song, and Easy Lover. Really loved Easy Lover. And yeah, I have it at like a light seven. I think it's cool and I respect it. But leaves little to be desired for me.
Cool.
Cool. um, yeah. Where you want to go
Yeah.
next, Colin?
Well, we got some music news we can talk
Mm-hmm.
about. Um, First thing I just saw before we started, but Taylor Swift announced that she has the masters to her first 6 albums now.
Nice.
Um, so
Oh,
she owns those. Uh, and Taylor's version, those can just go get thrown away, I
yeah.
guess.
I was gonna
Uh,
say no use for them anymore.
yeah. But I think I had heard that there was going to be a Reputation one
Me
that was
too.
coming out soon ish, but I'm sure it would still happen if she's already been working on it.
Yeah.
But you know, that's cool. Good for her. Happy for her to have those back.
Mm-hmm.
Um, uh,
Yeah. No, that's great. That's great news.
Yeah, and then Lorde released her second single for her album coming out soon. Man of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
Did you listen to that one?
No, I didn't know that came out.
Huh? It is. I enjoyed it quite a bit more of
Hmm.
than the first single. This one felt more like, I won't say like serious, but felt more just like personal and interesting. There's a music video released alongside it, but I didn't watch it. The song, I've only listened to it once as well, but it's good. I liked it more than the first single, um, and I'm still interested in what version's gonna sound like. But yeah, good stuff.
Cool. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, And then Balu Brigada, which is the open who they were the opener for the Clancy tour,
Hmm.
announced that their debut album is coming out in on August 29th called Portal.
Cool.
Um,
I did
which is
see that.
yeah,
Cool album cover.
that's cool. Yes. I quite liked their vibe when they were opening for the Boys at the show. I haven't really gone and listened to any of their stuff after that, but I would be interested in hearing what an album sounds like from them for
Yeah.
sure. Um, and then 21 Pilots, the AMAs were this week, and they won two.
Hmm.
Um, they won for best I think rock act and best rock album. So
Nice,
very
nice.
cool. They were up against like Foo Fighters and or not Foo Fighters, Linkin Park
Mm.
and Green Day and such. And that was cool. Happy for them
Yeah.
getting some award recognition. Um, which is something they don't get very often.
Yeah.
Uh,
Was the
but yeah,
AMAs? Oh no, that was definitely the Grammy. I was gonna say when they went pantsless, but that was absolutely the Grammys.
that was the Grammys. Yes. uh, 10 years ago going on.
Damn.
But yeah, that was cool. And then also they've been posting some very cryptic and scary stuff in preparation for the contract releasing in a couple weeks.
Hmm.
Um, there
The
was
contract is releasing in a couple weeks. That's funny.
yes, finally they'll be free of Fueled by Ramen, who
Yeah.
will do anything but will do anything but promote their band.
Right.
Um,
Their cash cow.
um, but no, the Blurry Face, the Twitter account that posts and deletes everything within a couple of minutes of tweeting. Uh, Yesterday they tweeted out a video, or should I say, Tyler tweeted out a video of it was like a black and white, grainy kind of film of what is definitely a music video, with some really creepy like text to speech slowed down, um, just like really creepy. It feels like a fucking like
But like a
a
creepy
like a,
pasta to me.
yeah, analog horror
Yeah,
creepypasta kind of
analog
stuff.
horror.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just honestly like unnerving, but like I sent it to you and you texted me like, "Oh, those are definitely lyrics." And I was like, "Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
for sure." After watching it a couple more times, but they put out another one today and it was just more of the same.
Mm.
But you know, some I'm getting excited because they're doing some weird creepy shit and
Yeah.
they don't really do weird creepy shit.
Yeah, it doesn't
So
usually get creepy. The only other time I can think of like something being spooky is I think I brought this up the other week as well, but like when they were dropping all those photos pre-trench and it looked like there was just
Mhm.
a dead body in like a river at one point. People were like,
Yeah.
"Oh my god, what the hell's going on there?" I guess there's also kind of like what do they call it, like the Tower of Death or something, where like the vultures
Yeah.
pick you apart or whatever. I guess that's a
Yeah.
little horror-ish as well, but
Yeah.
yeah.
That's like I learned about that in a couple classes in college, and
Yeah.
I think I learned about it in sociology in high school.
Mm.
To be honest, it's like a
Interesting for sociology.
yeah. We learned about a lot of interesting stuff in sociology in that class. There
Yeah.
was we talked a lot about like cults and serial killers and things like that.
Mm.
John was in that class with me, um, but it was an interesting class, and it was like a death tradition for a certain religious sect that I don't remember. Um, it's in Nepal, I believe,
Mm.
where they they bring their dead's body to the top of a mountain and just let vultures pick at it.
Yeah.
Um, but interesting stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but yeah, that's super cool. Getting excited for that single dropping.
Yes, yes, yes.
And we'll talk about it in a couple weeks.
Of course.
But that's all the music news I have.
I have a couple things as well.
Yeah.
One thing is the boys, Imagine Dragons.
Oh,
Thankfully,
Oh,
aren't teasing music. I don't think.
uh,
But what they did do is at the end of one of their shows earlier this week, when they were like doing their bows and saying their thank yous and stuff like that, Dan Reynolds just had a Palestine flag wrapped around him, and that was I guess kind of cool. Just like a
yeah,
uh, just to see that from a band of that level. Like I mean, like it or not, they're huge. So like it's
yeah.
cool seeing that.
Oh,
And
got it
people,
from Imagine Dragons before Radiohead. That's crazy.
I know. Well, just you wait.
Oh,
And but the Imagine Dragons thing. Some people made some funny comments of like this confirms the theory that sometimes people who make just like mediocre music can just be great people with like Macklemore,
yeah,
Coldplay, Imagine Dragons. All seem like great dudes. I think people
yeah.
are even throwing in like Ed Sheeran and stuff like that. I don't really know Ed Sheeran's beliefs, nor do I really
Yeah,
care.
no idea.
But you know,
Yeah,
I kind of agree with that though. Like I think sometimes that polarizing mid music usually has like good-hearted artists at the front of it.
yeah.
Um,
They're
but
just doing it for the fun of it.
yeah, yeah, for the love. But then earlier today as well, Tom York he posted
Oh,
a whole response basically for all the stuff that's being lobbed at him about being a Zionist and all that kind of stuff. I think it was a well written response, and I think he brings up a lot of good points of that kind of reminded me of some of the things with when Tyler was getting canceled for the Black Lives Matter
mhm.
thing, and talking about like some of the things that I know you and I talked about together of like why do we care what an artist thinks about this in some ways like I
Yeah,
know like even with like Radiohead being an outspoken group with this kind of stuff at the end of the day it's like it is a little you don't want them just to say something, right? You want them to
right.
mean it
Yeah.
and actually have that kind of stuff. And he kind of goes into some of those things. And I think it's a well written response. It does get a little both sidesy, which is you know maybe not the greatest take.
Mm.
In terms of yeah, just in terms of like what was it, Netanyahu is he said he's a terrible person with like with I don't remember exactly what he said, but like he was condemning Israel for their actions and all that kind of stuff. But he was also like, but at the same time, Hamas very very bad and all that kind of stuff, which
Mm.
you know I think there is validity to that. But I don't know. I'm not gonna pretend like I'm educated on this shit, but like
Right. Yeah.
that is what some people are saying. It's a little both sidesy, but at the same time, I think it is very, it's not like he's like this Israel supporter. I think that's very
Yeah.
clear.
Right.
I think it's a lot more of a nuanced take, and the way he responded to it, I think, was well. And yeah, I don't know. Just something to bring up that he addressed it. And he said he wanted to wait till the end of the tour for some reason. But
Okay.
yeah, I don't know. But you know, regardless, I think Radiohead makes great music, and I don't
Yeah.
care about their as long as they're not like supporting the Israeli government, I guess, like
Yeah.
financially. I don't
Yeah. As long
really
as they're
care.
like, yay, genocide, it's
Mhm.
fine.
As long as they're not going to be, I guess it's another thing that happened this week. I'm not sure if you saw this, but J.K. Rowling is like using funds from like Harry Potter stuff, like
Yeah, I heard.
specifically to do anti-trans type shit. So like supporting Harry Potter stuff will be going straight towards the J.K. Rowling Women's Fund or whatever the hell she called it.
Jesus
Um,
fucking Christ.
yeah, see, like those things. That's when, yeah, don't support that. um,
No, no.
um, but yeah, it's okay if a music artist has some bad opinions as long as it's not like I don't know. Obviously not in terrible faith and stuff like that. I don't know.
Right.
It's just I agree. I do think fundamentally I do agree with what he's saying about like just like we don't need to like wasting time.
Villainizing people.
Well, that a little bit, but also just like expecting musical artists from other countries, no less, just to like make statements about this shit and like pick sides like it's a sports team or something like that.
Yeah.
It is really reductive, and it's like it like strips things down to really basic levels that like is not healthy. And that's
Right. Yeah.
social media, that's what it tends to do. So I 100% agree with what he was saying about that kind of stuff. But
Hmm.
yeah, um,
Yeah.
yeah. But that's
Yeah.
all I got. Um,
Yeah.
but
Uh,
want to talk about Last of Us?
yeah, we can talk about The Last of Us.
Yeah. Well, the season finale happened earlier this week. Season 2 finale, of course. And
Hmm.
I mean, I think I could speak for both of us saying that we both enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I think I don't know. I might just not look online next season. Because
Yeah, seriously.
people are fucking annoying about that. Like I guess I never realized. I saw someone say it earlier this week, but like it's a thought that hadn't occurred to me. But maybe just the Last of Us fandom is fucking toxic as hell, just in general. Like
Hmm.
no matter what, if they don't like something, they'll just start blaming one writer and
Yeah.
saying like Neil Druckmann's the cause of this game going downhill, or Craig Mazin's the cause of this show going downhill. It's like I don't know. Um,
Yeah.
I didn't love everything about this season. I do think it was a little weaker than season one, and I think some
Yeah.
of the like the core like part of the things I love about Last of Us Part Two is how deeply it makes you feel like every emotion, like how intensely it like specifically does that. And I think that's a big part of the story that isn't translated as well into the show. And I do wish it was a little more present, and how it was written in places. And like I was saying, like some of the spoon feeding stuff, I think it takes away from some of those nuanced type things a little bit too. Um,
Mhm.
but like even though like if there's some directions I didn't like that they took, I don't think it was like 6 out of 10 like or like a
No.
fucking 1 out of 10s like people are bombing it with. I think it's a generally good season that I enjoyed quite a bit, and I think it was done well. Maybe not
Yeah.
perfectly, but I think it was done well. Um, and yeah, I don't. If you want to talk, you talk as well. I don't want to
Yeah.
say everything.
Yeah. No, I really enjoyed the finale. I think that from what I was hearing before, that people had gotten like a way to watch it prior to it coming out. They were saying, "Oh, it's really rushed," and I was like, I was kind of worried about it myself because like they had the whole aquarium bit to still get to, and the theater,
Hmm.
um just a bunch of other shit from day three that like I wasn't expecting them to adapt everything that happened um in Ellie's day three at all, but I'm generally happy with how they managed to get through it. They did a lot of good stuff to kind of flesh out and make people um kind of commiserate and like support Jesse in
Hmm.
his emotions and reactions to Ellie and her selfishness or
Yeah.
perceived selfishness throughout the season. And since he had arrived in Seattle, um, there were a lot of there were a lot of lines that he said, which like light spoilers, I suppose. If you haven't watched The Last of Us, skip forward.
Yeah.
But he talks a lot about like, oh, I can't die. I'm not gonna die out here. I can't die. And I'm like, every time I was like, oh, that man's gonna get shot in the fucking face. And
Light
he did.
spoilers. Yeah.
A secondary character. But
Yeah.
it's um, but he says all those things, and the whole time I was like, oh, but it was well done. I think there was a scene where where Ellie on her way to the aquarium gets swept away and lands on the Seraphite island and almost
Yeah.
gets like strung up and murdered by the Seraphites. And at first I was like, yeah, I don't really see the need for that scene all that much. But listening to the podcast, Neil was like, yeah, that was something that we wanted to do in the game, but we didn't have the time for it. Um, and I was like, if they're gonna do that kind of stuff, that's cool. But it showed like a second side to something that happened earlier in the episode as well,
Yeah.
where Ellie wanted to save a Seraphite, and then Jesse stopped her from doing it. Um, but and then people, because of that scene, they were like, "Oh, we're not gonna get the Abby scene. We're not gonna get the Abby scene." Like, oh my god.
Did
It's like we're gonna get the Abby scene, guys. Chill out.
The Last of Us fans with like predicting shit and pretending that they know
Yeah.
what's gonna happen is so fucking infuriating.
Mhm. Oh yeah. But there were a few pretty standout moments from that episode. The conversation between Ellie and Jesse before they split off was really, really well done.
Mhm.
Uh, and then the death of a couple other characters at Set Aquarium um,
Yeah.
was
You
was
won't spoil those two, but
yeah. Fuck it.
yeah.
Mel and Owen, who were in the first couple episodes, the
Yeah.
part of the WLF crew that killed. No, never mind.
I'm gonna have the spoiler warning so
All right,
you can
sorry to make you edit, but
yeah, no, you're fine. I already put down the time code.
um, yeah, part of the WLF crew that went in to kill Joel, that hadn't really been anywhere in the season since, they die in the game as well, and it's kind of in the same fashion, but not nearly as like graphic, I would say, as the show. Um, Owen gets shot the same, not the same, but he gets shot in both, but in the show he was shot in the throat, and it was like, whoa.
Mhm.
Whoa. And it was with Joel's revolver, which is a very high powered gun, and it
Mhm.
went right through his neck and lacerated Mel's jugular, or her carotid artery or whatever it is in her neck.
Mhm.
And god damn, that scene was fucked up.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
uh, uh, she's pregnant, and she's like pleading with Ellie to cut it out of her, and trying to giving her like medical jargon, which Ellie obviously doesn't fucking know anything about
Right.
that. So Ellie's just sitting there helpless about not knowing what to do, not knowing how to do it, and just like losing it over the fact that Mel, this pregnant woman, wasn't meant to die but died anyway, and with that a baby died as well. And it ties back to like Dina and her being pregnant and everything, and it was done well in the game as well, but this one just felt more visceral, and fucked up, but it was really well done.
Mhm.
um but yeah, and then the ending scene was done very well as well, very shot for shot pretty much. There was the end of that scene though, where Abby's like, "You wasted it," and then like aims the gun at Ellie, and it cuts back to Ellie. She's just like, "No, no."
Yeah, I found that cut a little silly, not gonna lie.
Yeah, yeah, no. There was a lot of people making fun of it, and I was like, yeah, that was kind of silly, I will admit.
Yeah. It's like
It
mid sentence. I don't know. It's strange.
Yeah, she say no, 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 and then it cuts to black, and then it's silly. A lot of people are saying it feels like a failed QuickTime event. And
That's actually pretty accurate.
but you said we were talking about the episode on Sunday, and yeah, you were like um you said fuck the internet, and I said yeah.
Yeah.
um but it feels like, it's okay to look at an adaptation as a different thing, as just like a season of television. You don't have to look at it and expect a one for one, completely 100% um, clean adaptation of a game or a movie or a book or
Mm,
something for television. Like nothing's gonna be exactly the way you want it to be. And if you just look at it as a season of television and you enjoy it for what it is, you'll have a good time with it.
yeah.
There's really, like you were saying, the Last of Us fandom is the most toxic fucking piece of shit.
Yeah.
Because like last season there wasn't too much of it because this season was mostly really well adapted from the game. They changed a couple of things, but the most different thing was episode 3 with Bill and
Right.
uh, uh, with
Frank.
Bill and Frank. Thank you. And that episode is generally seen as one of like the best in the series, and I
Mm,
agree. Um, but as a adaptation of a game, there were some things changed. It wasn't completely the same, but there were some. It was mostly the same. But for season 2, they took a lot of creative liberties and they went a different route in some aspects. And I do agree that some of this stuff could have been done differently. The spoon feeding, like you were saying, I didn't hate it as much, but there definitely was a good bit of that.
yeah.
Um,
I think I saw someone say something along the lines of like, I think it's like four separate times in the show where it's like Joel killed Abby's dad. That's why she's doing it. Like it's like okay, we didn't even need that one time.
yeah,
Yeah.
no. I feel like we could have gotten it from the gravesite at the beginning of the season, but
Right.
I digress.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. There were some things that I didn't love, and I do think that the first season was generally better, but the second season did a lot of good stuff that I really enjoyed. It still hit on an emotional level. It still did a lot of good stuff when it came to adapting certain scenes from the game. Like I'm really really glad they did the take on me scene
Hmm.
and the spaceship scene and uh just the entirety of Joel's death scene was like really well done.
Hmm.
But you know, like I said, I really really enjoyed it and I'm very excited for season 3. I'm very scared for what people are going to react with for season 3.
Yeah.
um but like you said, I might just shield my eyes from all of that because I am just going to enjoy it for what it is and have a good time with it
Hmm.
and thank Daddy Craig and Daddy Neil and and just enjoy it for what it is because I'm capable of that.
Yeah. Hmm. I think we all are.
So yeah.
Um, Yeah, I guess the last couple things I wanted to touch down on as well because I didn't want to do it all at once because I do enjoy the season. But I guess a couple other of the criticisms that like maybe I like slightly agree with. Uh, I know I kind of defended it a little bit when we talked about it, but for me, I do think the Scar Island scene is a little, or I should say Seraphite Island. I'm saying slurs. The Seraphite Island scene, I do think is a little, like maybe it's just the way that it was written, but it does feel a little pointless. Like it's just like a slight little detour. Um,
Yeah.
and I feel like despite any manner that like of panic they were in of their island getting attacked, I think realistically they would have still killed Ellie. Like it's just maybe not as ritualistic, maybe just hang her or something.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
but it does feel a little strangely written in. Like it feels like it could be very easily removed. You know what I mean? Even if it
Yeah.
does have a lot, it tie back to like themes earlier on. And like I said, I think it's a little, I guess, very slight spoiler for the next season. It's another instance of like like I was texting you about Abby and Ellie kind of being in the same place at the same time.
Yeah.
Um, uh, yeah. But yeah. So I guess there was that as well, and then one of the things I do slightly agree with the internet on as well is like they did kind of dumb Ellie down a little bit this season, which I don't
Yeah.
entirely know how I feel about that. Like I think it's okay to like we've been talking about before, like it's different adaptation and like they should adapt to the actors that they have and stuff like that and like not write specifically for the game. But like it does I don't know. They kind of made her feel just completely reckless. You know what? Like it's not like there's a plan or anything like that. It's like very much, um, I don't know, completely reckless. Like I said,
Yeah.
and I think that's fine in some cases, but they also have, you know, the first season where she like took care of Joel all on her own for a while and like had to
Yeah.
survive by herself and get these survival instincts and all that kind of shit. And it's like it does kind of feel like it's writing over her character a little bit.
Yeah.
For like just to
Well,
give
she's a
Dina
pothead
more.
now, man.
She's a pot. Yeah, yeah. It was the weed that did it. But yeah, it did kind of feel like it was just trying to give Dina more character traits, which I thought Dina
Yeah.
was great in the season. But like it does, I feel like it does take away somewhat negatively from Ellie. But all that being
Yeah.
said, I still enjoy the season. I think it was good. I don't agree with every decision, but I think it's good. And I think people are overreacting way too much about things not being
Um,
one to one. Um, and yeah, that's what I gotta say.
Yeah. When it comes to her being dumbed down, though, in the game, she wasn't really thinking too much about it. It was more in in a way. It was in the game. It was much more of like a blind rage. Like I'm gonna do this no matter what. I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks. In the show, yeah, she was definitely like dumbed down in like a smart way. Like
I
she,
I think what I was kind of trying to say though also is like more so in like the survival instinct type of way. Like
yeah, yeah,
it feels like she hasn't been living in this world her entire life at that point.
yeah, yeah. I feel that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there were a couple things where it was like I don't know what triangulation means. I don't know what any of that shit means.
Yeah.
And it's like, um, and then there was like the first season where she's like, oh yeah, I cracked the code of what the codes mean for the Bill and Frank radio stuff, and
Right.
I like you said, I took care of Joel when he was impaled, and all this other stuff, and this season, yeah, I can definitely agree with those points as well. Um, and while I did like how they kind of used um, her like what is it? What am I trying to say? Her immune state, like the
Mm.
way that they used her immunity to in the show, to like, oh, she gets bit a lot, and like it just shows that yeah, she's definitely immune.
Yeah.
I liked it in certain aspects. Like the way she protects Dina from all the bites and everything,
Yeah.
in a few episodes, and I'm like, I think that's cool. Um, but yeah, in that way, she was very like reckless,
Yeah.
and not really showing her survival instincts, like you were saying.
Yeah,
So
I
yeah,
see.
I see that criticism.
Something I like to think about every now and then is like by this point in the game, Ellie has been bitten once, and she's been bitten at least 4 times. We don't know if she was bitten during that scene where Jesse saved them, but probably.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I have to imagine she was when she was swarmed by those
yeah.
stalkers.
It was
But
never. I don't think it was ever confirmed, but
no,
yeah.
but it was still a cool scene, and you know,
Mm,
yeah. But yeah, just enjoy it for what it is. You don't really have to look at the at the game for it to be a 1-to-1 comparison. Just there are ways to enjoy things without fully wanting them to be exactly the same.
yeah,
So yeah.
I
But,
agree.
mhm.
Um. Anyways, I'm gonna write down this time code so I can say skip to this. Um, but yeah, cool. Last of Us, good. Internet, bad.
Yeah.
And
See you in 2027.
hell yeah. If we make it that far. And yeah, I don't really got anything else for this week. If you wanna jump into
Yeah,
song of,
no,
oh,
I'm tapped out here. If you want
okay.
to jump in.
Jumping into song of the week. Well, you're the one jumping. You're first. Uh
Uh
oh.
oh.
Sounds like
Well,
you're
I did.
prepared. Oh.
Yeah, yeah, I liked that Bon Iver record, and I was listening through to see what I would pick this week, and one with a fewer streams than a lot of the big ones. I'm gonna go with "Creature Fear" by Bon Iver.
All right.
So ready for a creature fear.
All right, that was "Creature Fear" by Bon Iver. What do you think, Mike?
I thought that was a great song. I really enjoyed the dynamics on there, going from like those soft, plucky guitars to the more full instrumentation. I think the vocals worked really well on it too. I thought it was really beautiful. It's kind of one where like I feel like the song speaks for itself. It's kind of hard to like say a lot about, but I did enjoy it quite a bit. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, I feel the same way. It doesn't really need to be talked about. Just go listen to it. It's very low key, but it's got those nice guitars, like you were saying, and I really like when it picks up a little bit there in the middle. But yeah, it's a great song with a great transition into the next one. Very seamless.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yes. As we found out.
yes, yeah, good song. Just thought that that one stood out to me as a highlight for the on that record. But what are you gonna go with this week, Mike?
Well, I did have some thoughts of choosing that one Snarky Puppy song called Lingus, which is a great song. It's a long song. But I don't know, it's kind of I don't know, I guess I'm not really feeling listening to that right now just because it's instrumental and I think there is like a video that goes along with the performance that I think helps along with it a lot as well. But while I do think that track is great, I don't know. I guess I'm not feeling it for today. um, but something I did find last night that I thought was a really good song was something that involves our artist analysis alumni, Anderson Paak. And it's a
Oh,
song from a couple years ago that he featured on that I don't know. I really liked and I really was vibing along with, and I think I want to highlight it. So I'm going to go with Take a Chance by Domi and JD Beck featuring Anderson Paak.
Hold on, just let go of who I used.
All right, that was "Take a Chance" by Domi and JD Beck featuring Anderson Paak. What do you think of that, Colin?
great vibes. I wouldn't expect people with such different styles to really mesh the way they do, but the way that like Anderson's kind of rapping over the first and last portion of the song,
Mm,
while the middle is kind of taken up by the other artists in their more like singing, more melodic kind of style. It works really well. It was just a really nice vibe of a track, and I really like they did some interesting production choices in the background with like the piano and
mm-hmm.
such. But yeah, I liked it a lot. Good vibes.
Yeah, yeah, that's kind of how I was feeling too. It's great vibes. I really love the jazzy influence all throughout it, really. And kind of like you were saying, like that contrast between those rap verses and like just the light chorus. It in that chorus is just super catchy to me too. I think it just sounds really nice. And yeah, I don't really know too much about Domi and JD Beck. I did see them do like a live performance of this song on like I think it was like Jimmy Kimmel, with Anderson Paak there too. And it looks like one of them's a drummer and one of them is like a you know they were doing like the keyboards and the bass line and stuff at like the same time and shit. Um, and so it seems like they're like producer buddies or something. I don't know. But I don't know. They added a lot to the track, and I mean it's their track, of course. But I don't know. I really love the jazziness of it, and you know, my nerdy brain loves that. Like Anderson's kind of rapping in seven on there, in 7/8, I think, and yeah, I don't know. It's cool. I like it quite a bit, and wanted to highlight it. So there it is.
Yeah,
um,
boys.
yeah. Okay. Well, we could probably get into wrapping up. Unless you got anything else to add. Last chance.
I
This is it.
think we're all good. I
Okay.
think we're all good, bud.
All right. If you're listening on streaming services, thank you very much. We appreciate you and we love you to death, one could say. One should say. And yeah, but you can come find us over on YouTube under the same name, BrokeN Boys, capital N, and BOIS. And there you can get links to a whole slew of things in the description. And, well, you can also see our beautiful profile pictures of Lemo still looking cool as fuck, and the 21 Pilots looking cool as fuck. Breaching.
Oh yeah.
They're breaching it. Yeah. But you can see links in the description to a bunch of stuff like the Song of the Week playlist, that little segment we just did. You can find 3 playlists down there. We got one for me, we got one for Colin, and we got one for both of us combined. And within those, you can find Take a Chance by Domi and JD Beck featuring Anderson .Paak, or Creature Fear by Bon Iver. You can find those in that playlist along with a whole bunch of other stuff. My buddy Daniel, he just finished listening through, all of it, which is
Insane.
A little insane, but I respect it, and you should do it too, dear viewer. It's a rite of passage, if you will. You can't watch a single episode till you caught up on the lore. But yeah, we also got links to some personal stuff down there too. For me, I make music. I know I've been talking about release day. I swear to God, I'm gonna get one settled down here soon. It's working in life.
I believe you. I believe you.
Yeah, thank you. You've been believing me for too long. Anyways, make music under the name Plaintive. You can go check out the Plaintive lore over on Spotify, Apple Music, and my YouTube page as well. Go check out Coping Mechanism, I guess. Yeah. I also have links to my Instagram down there, as well as my Album of the Year page, where I rate and review music. If you want any more in-depth thoughts on all those albums I talked about, I think most of them have more in-depth thoughts on there. Sometimes I do a funny one-liner, that's the way. Yeah. And my TikTok's down there, I guess. And my my relation to you, dear viewer. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Jesus Christ. My brain. You know what? You and I, dear viewer, we're on a boat. I don't know. We're on a yacht, luxurious yacht. And I'm behind you, and you're doing like the Titanic thing, dear viewer. You're doing the Titanic thing at the front of the ship, and I'm behind you, letting you be king of the world or whatever. That's us. So
Yep.
I'm sure you're looking out at the ocean. That's that. And Colin over here,
Are you like holding on to them, or are
yeah.
you just like admiring them?
I'm holding on to them. Yeah, it's. I think that's what he does in Titanic, right? Does he hold on to her when she does that?
Yeah.
Yep, making sure they don't fall. I love the dear viewer to death, so giving them some safety support. And Colin over here, he runs our socials. He runs our Twitter page, where he updates when videos are posted, as well as updates all things that need to be updated. And he also runs our TikTok page and our Instagram page, where he posts little funny clips of us being silly little dudes. Yeah, so go check all those out, give him some love. And he also has a couple personal things as well. He's got a Letterboxd down there where he rates and reviews movies. No new movies this week. I remember him saying that, but you should catch up on your Colin Letterboxd lore. Absolutely. And he also has an Album of the Year page where he rates and reviews music. And Colin, what is your relation to our dear viewer?
Well, I have to be in front of our dear viewer, so
right. I thought about that as I was saying. I was like, I wonder what he's gonna do about that.
But there is a way I can do it, and that is it's gonna be like a weird kind of embrace this week, where You'll be holding the viewer, and the viewer is going to be holding me while I am the king of the world.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's a three-person Titanic reference,
Yeah.
and we're just having a good time. We're on this yacht that I don't know where we got it from because
So sorry,
you
hold
know,
on. This does make it sound like you two were doing it already, and I just like came up behind the viewer, wanted to join in.
and maybe he did, but
Yeah, it's
as we're doing that, and as our viewer feels hands on their shoulders or waist, wherever you might be grabbing them
Mhm,
by, they're gonna go, wait, who? What the fuck? Because they know it's me, of course.
of course.
I'm co-host of the Broken Boys podcast, and I asked them to help me with this, and they went, "Oh my god, you're Colin." Just a little flashback for you guys, and uh, and um, as they feel the touch of another person from behind, they're going to turn around real quick and go, "Whoa!" Uh, and then you're gonna, throw your hands up in like the "Whoa, sorry," um, and they're gonna go, "Oh my god, it's Mike from the Broken Boys podcast," and you go, "Yep, that's me,"
Hmm.
and
My classic line.
and they're gonna go, "Don't do that without asking again," uh, but still cool. Glad we got both the Broken Boys on here, and they're like, "Can I get one of those things?" And we're gonna go, "Of course, that's what we're here for."
Hmm.
And so the viewer is gonna turn right back around to me, so you might be behind them, and they will be in the middle between us both. And I am going to embrace from the front. You will embrace from behind, and me and you, will kiss very deeply
Mm.
while "My Heart Will Go On" by Celine Dion plays in the background.
Hmm. Non
And
Titanic music, yeah.
yes, and this embrace is what we like to call the love cage. And if you would like your very own, dear viewer, all you must do is drop your address in the comments below, and we will find you. You won't know when, you won't know where, but we will find you and give you your very own love cage. So drop
Hell
that
yeah.
at it. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, brother. Hell
Hell
yeah.
yeah, brother. Beautiful description. And next week, we will. I don't know. Is there anything happening next week specific? I don't think so.
Uh, I'll talk about the Kendrick concert,
Yes,
uh,
yes. Oh yeah, yeah. So,
but
stay
other than that,
tuned
we'll
for.
just be shooting that goop again.
You know us, always shooting that goop. All right,
Always.
stay tuned for the goop. Bye bye.
Bye bye.